Hello fans, I'm Kevin Pollan, and I want to thank you for watching this episode of the Kevin Pollan Show on YouTube today, as well as listening to this episode of the Kevin Pollan Show on iStar Radio. Now, I want to talk to you about discrimination for a second. Many of you have heard in the past few months, even while I was here at the apartment, that discrimination has been going on for some time now. And there were several that have come to my attention in the past few months. The one that bothered me the most was the one where two men were arrested at a Starbucks for not leaving the property, despite the fact that they were waiting for someone to arrive for a meeting. And on top of that, one of them had to use the restroom. Well, supposedly, the manager or the employee told them that they needed to buy something before they could use the restroom. Well, the policies of both the police department and the Starbucks have since changed, because the police ended up arresting them, only to later learn that they were racially profiled. So the charges were dropped against the two men. But that wasn't all. Starbucks had to close down the stores to give employees training on how to better deal with customers and to allow them to use the restroom when they need it. And the police departments, on the other hand, they have decided to change the way they deal with people who were in situations where they were accused of trespassing, because at the end of the day, it may not be what's taking place. But that's one story that bothered me the most. And just recently I found out that a woman was disrespected at a hotel pool. A gentleman claiming to be with the health department asked her if they had showered before going into the pool because they carried diseases. Well, they pointed out that nobody else was asked that. Why were they? The hotel manager thought at the time that the female customer was being disrespectful and asked her to leave, only to later realize she was harassed herself. So now they're wondering where that gentleman went. And she discovered that it was because of her skin color. So that tells me that not everyone understands how to do things. And the one thing that was on her mind, besides racial profiling, was the fact that she suspected that the gentleman was not what he said he was. There wasn't any possible way that he was a health department employee. There's just no way, otherwise he would have had a badge. So she was right for suspecting that the guy was a fake, because that's just not the way it works. And we want everyone to have a good time. We really do. But now let's talk about Red Lobster for a second. Several people complained that they were discriminated against at Red Lobster. The most recent story I came across was a few set of customers who were all complaining about the same thing. And when we come back, I want to talk to you about the second one that I heard about. Stay with us. And welcome back to the show. Now, the second family who discovered the same thing that the first one did came forward on Friday, saying that they were treated disrespectfully while dining at a Red Lobster. And this was in Rochester. After a Muslim family said they were discriminated against by staff at the restaurant, a woman who wishes to be only identified as Jackie said her family was treated unfairly as well. Jackie said her family was seated in the back of the Red Lobster restaurant near the bathroom and asked to sit somewhere else. A food mix-up followed, which prompted their waitress to bring in the manager. As she was talking, she was angry. You can see it in her body language. And spit or slobber was coming from her mouth and it was getting into the food. She said that the conversation eventually turned into an argument. The waitress told her whispered in her ear and said, "I knew you weren't going to give me a tip. You people don't give me a tip. I was mad when you all came in because you don't want to sit by the bathroom." According to Jackie, the manager told her they should take it to the parking lot. She said, "At the time, I was 49. What do I look like I'm going to go to the parking lot to fight at 49? I was so embarrassed that this was happening. Then I was in disbelief that it was happening to me because of the color of my skin." That's what Jackie had pointed out. She said that when she complained to the Red Lobster corporate office, she was assured they would investigate the incident. So when she heard about another family that reported the same incident, she was shocked. They don't care, because if they did, this wouldn't be happening again. The executive director of the Council of American Islamic Relations is representing the Muslim family who reported the same thing. To break the fast, you only need water or something sweet. So they requested water. Typically with any service like this, water always comes first in a few minutes. The family told them that they waited for 20 minutes and ended up leaving because they felt that they were discriminated against. At this point, we are allowing Red Lobster to investigate. Once we move forward, we hope we can share more. Or maybe not share because Red Lobster will recognize this type of treatment to customers from a minority community or those observing the month of Ramadan should not be treated in a manner like this. A spokesperson from Red Lobster issued a written statement to ABC 6 News and stated that we welcome everyone in our restaurants for a great seafood dining experience. All our guests should be treated equally and given the respect that they deserve. However, Red Lobster also said they cannot share any information on specific incidents as this is an open legal matter. As for Jackie, she says Rochester is still a beautiful community. It doesn't matter what nationality. We got some good people here, and for that to be going on at a place that maybe all of Rochester's residents have visited at one point or another, we should never have to deal with that. That story was bothersome. Now, here's a crime story that I just came across, and it was over a television set. Now, this is according to the people at GoFundMe, because it's a fundraiser. It stated that her ex-boyfriend killed her right in front of her face and threw her mama out of the car. Her mama was a nice person. She didn't deserve that. She left her only child. She left nieces and nephews. Her mama, brothers, sisters, aunties, and cousins. Now, according to Eric Cox over at KMOV, a CBS affiliate, it stated that a 14-year-old, Nell Good, watched as her mother's boyfriend shot and killed her over $36 for a TV and a ride to the pawn shop. It happened in the middle of the Family Dollar store parking lot on West Florissant Road in Jennings, Wednesday. Now the teen is left with a few places to turn as she tries to move on after her mother, L'Oreal Good's murder. Now, the link to the story I was talking about was actually a link to donate to the cause of trying to help that woman out. It's a shame that things have turned violent in recent years. And speaking of violence, a road rage incident took place the other day. A boy was dead, but 3 others wounded in a Westminster shooting. Now that shooting was as a result of road rage. And that shooting prompted the people at KDVR to interrupt a golf tournament to bring breaking news. But yet a reporter received an email telling him to stop doing it. Well, that reporter did the right thing and posted on Facebook that, hey, we have an obligation and we need to get this taken care of. I was on ice.radio talking about this last night for those of you who were listening to The Late Show with Kevin Pilot. And Part of it wasn't heard due to a glitch, but, you know, that's just the way it was. This morning when I got up, and this is also from CBS in Denver, a crazy windstorm sends porta potties flying up in the air. And when we come back, I'll describe what happened. Stay with us. And welcome back to the show. Now in Commerce City, Colorado, a day at the park turned scary and kind of gross when strong winds kicked up. A man captured video of people running for cover, ducking down low to the ground and hanging onto their children as the wind battered them and garbage swirled in the air around them. Then suddenly, the wind pushes two portable toilets out of their covered shelter, slams them onto some parked cars, and sends them flying up into the air. As you can see, liquid spraying out of one of the porta potties as it flew over the people at the park. The second porta potty appears to be ripping apart as the wind carried it away. The wind also shredded a large canopy tent. It is unknown if anybody got hurt. Gabriel Flores posted the video to his Facebook page on Monday, and by Friday it had already been viewed more than 1.3 million times. It appears to have been shot at Pioneer Park in Commerce City. Meteorologist Chris Spears said on hot, clear summer days, crazy localized winds can develop due to the transfer of heat from the ground to the air. That type of storm is almost unheard of. But it says true that a storm can happen at any time. You have to learn to expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. That's just the way it works. Same with hurricanes. You have to do that as well. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Kevin Pilot Show on YouTube, as well as watching the show on YouTube and listening to this on iStar.radio. Now let's have some fun with music for those of you listening on iStar.radio.